Hello and welcome to Penalty on the Podcaster, the weekly NFL predicting podcast. This week, predicting week 17 of the 2022 NFL season. I honestly cannot believe that it is already about to be the second to last week of the regular season, which means playoffs, which my LA Rams will not be in. Yeah, that kind of sucks. It's just amazing how it's already the second to last week of the season. It is just incredible. So for those of you who are not familiar with how the show works, I will review last week's slate of games, tell you what I thought about the games, and then I will look at this upcoming week's slate of games, give predictions for each game, score, outcome, and just if I can predict someone gets an interception, things like that. Before we jump into it, disclaimer, this is not gambling advice. I truly mean that. I am not responsible and will not take any responsibility for any money that was lost, that was gambled on things said in this podcast. I highly discourage gambling on things said in this podcast. But I will not be responsible for any money that was lost if it was gambled on things said in this podcast. Also, this episode is sponsored by Souls Auto Parts. Do you need parts for your vehicle? Then Souls is the way to go. You can call them, email them, or go to their in-person location. This will all be in the description. Reference my podcast, Penalty on the Podcaster, for a 10% discount on the auto parts you need. And if you'd like to contact me, my email will be in the description of this episode. Hope you enjoy. So, last week, week 16, TNF was Jaguars at Jets. And that was honestly a pretty good game, unless you're a Jets fan. The Jets didn't do much of really anything, only getting 3 points. The Jaguars got 19 points, and they're currently in the division lead. I think the Jaguars might win the division, but I think they will end up with a losing season and be eliminated potentially in the first round of the playoffs. And then Falcons at Ravens. The Ravens won. Not really a surprise. The Falcons aren't good. The Panthers beat the Lions, and the Panthers are one of those teams that have shown flashes of potentially being a good team. The Lions are a pretty good team, even though they're 7-8. They are about to be a true contender with Dan Campbell. They're doing all the right things. Selecting Aiden Hutchinson was a stroke of luck, but he's got 7 sacks on the season. He leads all NFL rookies in sacks. So it's pretty incredible that they were able to get him at number 2. Jaguars should have taken him at number 1, but still he's contributing to this Lions team. And Jared Goff's playing pretty good. And the Bills beat the Bears. There's really not a surprise there. This has set them up in a position to clinch the first seed in the AFC if they win this week. Saints beat the Browns. I don't know what I was expecting. I don't know what I predicted, but Saints won regardless. And the Chiefs, of course, beat the Seahawks. The Vikings beat the Lions. No surprise there. No, it wasn't the Lions. It was the Giants. The Vikings beat the Giants. No surprise there. And the Bengals beat the Patriots. Also unsurprising. The Texans somehow beat the Titans, which was very surprising. The 49ers, unsurprisingly, beat the Commanders. And the Cowboys prevented the Eagles from clinching the number 1 seed with a 40-34 win. And that wasn't the quarterback's fault. I forgot his name, but it wasn't his fault. 34 points is really 34 points is pretty good, but it's not going to win it's not going to win against the Cowboys. The Cowboys were pretty darn good in that game. And so I think the Eagles will clinch this week, and the Cowboys' endeavors will be futile, but at least for now, they haven't clinched the number 1 seed. And the Steelers beat the Raiders on the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception. Franco Harris was supposed to be there, so it was kind of sad because he died 2 days before. Yeah, just sad. And then the Packers somehow beat the Dolphins to stay alive in the playoff race, and the Broncos got absolutely destroyed by the Rams. A moment to talk about my favorite team now. The Rams may suck. They may be the subject of ridicule, even though they're so injured. They may be super injured too. They may be absolutely horrible, a disappointment, week after week, disappointing for most of the season. But they put up 51 points on a team, and so I'm happy. They put up 51 points on a team with Pat Surtain. So I'm pretty happy about that. There was a pick 6. That was pretty fun. Kobe Durant. I also want to talk about him. He's really good. At late 4th round, he was quite a steal, I think. And he's been really good. He has had injuries, but he's got 3 picks on the year and a pick 6. That's about half as many picks as Tariq Woolen. It is. But the main difference between them is Woolen has started 15 games. Kobe Durant has only been active in 11 games, only started 1, only got playing time in 7. So with getting playing time in less than 7 games, in less than half the amount of games that Tariq Woolen has, Durant has half the interceptions. I think he is a phenomenal rookie corner. I think he will develop into a really good corner, and he needs to be respected a lot. And no disrespect to Tariq Woolen. Tariq Woolen is amazing, but I think Durant is really good for the rookies. And if he plays 8 more games, who knows, he might have 7 interceptions. Too bad he got injured. And then the Buccaneers won in OT against the Cardinals. And that, I don't like the Bucs. I really hate the Bucs and Tom Brady. But with the Cardinals losing, they are now bottom place in the division, and the Rams aren't. So I'm kind of happy about that. And the Chargers will be going to the playoffs. Yay, one Los Angeles team going to the playoffs, and that makes me happy. They beat the Colts. They really, really, really beat them. And a little thing about the Derwin James ejection, I don't think that constituted an ejection. Because if you see, James is putting the crown of his helmet, which is what would be the ejection if it hit the receiver's helmet. He's putting the crown of the helmet into the receiver's shoulder pad that deflects sideways, and the sides of their helmets knocked together. It wasn't crown on the side of the helmet, as I think the officials saw. I think that was a bad call. I think that warranted a 15-yard penalty. I don't think Derwin James should have been ejected for that. And now on with this week's predictions. So, Cowboys at Titans, Thursday Night Football. This can really make or break the Titans. For the Cowboys, I mean, it's just getting better wild card seeding, I think it will end up being. But DeMarcus Lawrence had limited participation in practice for the Cowboys. He has no game status. Micah Parsons had limited participation in practice with a hand injury. He is questionable to return, and that might be big. But knowing how tough Micah Parsons is, I think he'll be able to pull through. And I think he will be in the game at least for a little bit because he is so important to that Cowboys defense. Tony Pollard did not participate in practice with a thigh injury. He is questionable. As the second running back, he is kind of important. Leighton Vander Esch is out with a neck injury. Dorrance Armstrong had full participation in practice, but does not have any game status. And Jaron Kearse had limited participation in practice. I don't know what his injury is, but he has no game status. And for the Titans, this is very, very big. Derrick Henry is doubtful to return with a hip injury. That has a lot of potential to hurt the Titans because their offense is Derrick Henry on first down, Derrick Henry on second down, Derrick Henry on third down, and if it comes to it on fourth down, more Derrick Henry. The offense runs through him, and if he can't make this game, that will be trouble for the Titans because their entire offense is just giving it to Henry. I don't even know why they have a quarterback and don't just run it out of Wildcat the whole time. And Christian Fulton is doubtful with a groin injury, limited participation in practice. And Ryan Tannehill is out with an ankle injury. This is bad because if Ryan Tannehill is out and Derrick Henry is doubtful, that's basically their only two big guys on offense. So Ryan Tannehill would have a possibility of making up for an injured Derrick Henry, but that is not good. Oh, and Danico Autry is doubtful with bicep injuries. Wonderful. Just plain wonderful. This is going to be the Cowboys game. This, I think, will be a domination. This is a very long injury report for the Titans. I think that Micah Parsons will get a sack. I think he will be able to play. I think Ezekiel Elliott will get 2 touchdowns. And I think Kevin Byard will get an interception, though. And I think that Dak Prescott will throw at least 1 touchdown, and CeeDee Lamb will catch 1 touchdown. I think this will end up being 27-13 in favor of the Cowboys. Yay, no injury list to read through. On Sunday, the first New Year's game, it will be Colts at Giants. And I think the Giants will win this. They almost certainly will win this. I think Saquon Barkley rushes for 3 touchdowns, just saying that. And because the Colts are so bad. I think the Colts don't even score. Is Nick Foles. But to be fair to him, he did step up when it mattered, and now he's got a ring. I think this will end up being 28-0 Giants. I think this will just be a good old-fashioned domination. And the Dolphins at Patriots, I think the Dolphins will win this. Yeah. I think Tua is playing. I think that Tyreek Hill catches at least 2 touchdowns and Jalen Waddle catches at least 1. I think that Mac Jones throws at least 2 touchdowns and Nelson Aguilar catches at least 1. I think this ends up being 21-17. Dolphins. Bears at Lions. Lions definitely. I think that Amon-Ra St. Brown will catch 2 touchdowns. Now, Amon-Ra St. Brown will catch 1 touchdown and DeAndre Swift will rush for 2. I think Justin Fields will throw 2 picks and 1 touchdown. And I think it will be 24-10. Lions. Panthers at Buccaneers. This is a rematch of a game that was astoundingly, it went in the Panthers' favor. But I think that this will be the Buccaneers game. They have improved slightly. I think that Chris Godwin and Mike Evans will each catch a touchdown, and Leonard Fournette will rush for at least 1 touchdown. I think that Blackshear will rush for at least 1 touchdown, but I think the Buccaneers, and I think Sam Darnold will throw 3 picks, and I think the Buccaneers will win 27-7. There is a lot to be said for that Buccaneers defense more than the passing game. Saints at Eagles. The Eagles will clinch with a win. I think they'll win. They will win. I do think Taysom Hill and Alvin Kamara will each get touchdowns. Alvin Kamara will be rushing. Taysom Hill will be receiving. For the Eagles, I forgot what his name was. Oops. And it is Gardner Minshew. Oh, yeah, Gardner Minshew. That guy. Yeah. Wait, is Jalen Hurts playing? Yeah. Gardner Minshew really isn't bad. Yeah, he's not bad, but it looks like Jalen Hurts will play, and I think that's a horrible move because they're going against a really bad team, and if they win, they could just rest everyone for the playoffs. I think if they win, Jalen Hurts won't be playing another game before the playoffs, before the divisional if they win. Jalen Hurts, I think, will throw 3 touchdowns and rush for at least 1 and just have an awesome game. And I think that Devonta Smith will catch at least 1 touchdown and A.J. Brown will catch at least 1 touchdown. And I think that the defense forces 3 turnovers for the Eagles. The Eagles defense gets 3 takeaways. I think Ndamukong Suh will get a sack. And I think Darius Slay will get an interception. I think this will undoubtedly be the Eagles game, 31-13. And then the Broncos at the Chiefs. This one I could judge in my sleep. It's going to be the Chiefs. Travis Kelce is going to catch at least 1 touchdown. Patrick Mahomes is going to throw at least 3 touchdowns and rush for at least 1. I do think he will throw at least 1 interception. but I think the Broncos will be absolutely helpless and scoreless. I think Chris Jones will get at least one sack. I think this ends up being 31-0. Another domination shutout I'm predicting. Yay, I hope they all come true. I like blowouts. And then the Browns and the Commanders. The Browns are bad. The Commanders are not good. I'm predicting that Terry McLaurin will catch at least one touchdown, though. Deshaun Watson, he's playing for some reason this season. He is being a horrible quarterback. I think Nick Chubb will rush for at least one touchdown. But I think Myles Garrett will get at least one sack, and I think defense will help the Browns win this. I think it will be 17-14 Browns. This will be a slop fest. No one will want to watch this game unless they're like heavily into the Browns or Commanders. And if you are, I'm so sorry for your loss. Cardinals at Falcons. The Cardinals are not good. The Falcons are not good. I mean, Desmond Ridder. Yay. Desmond Ridder. Do I have to? Because James Conner, I'm going to go with the Cardinals. I think that J.J. Watt will get at least one sack, but James Conner will get at least 2 touchdowns against a super weak Falcons line. I'm predicting like 17-3 for the Cardinals. Yay, Jaguars at Texans. The Texans. Davis Mills is young, but if they get the number 1 or number 2 pick, they are selecting Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. Basically, the one that doesn't get drafted number 1 or number 2 overall. Yeah, they might get the number 1 pick, and they could pick a lot of good quarterbacks like Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. Those guys. The Jaguars, I think, will win this and send the Texans into a really bad record. And I like Trevor Lawrence. He's been doing pretty good. I think he'll throw at least 2 touchdowns because it's the Texans. What are they going to do to stop it? And I think he'll rush for 1 touchdown too. I think Dameon Pierce will rush for at least 1 touchdown. And I predict the Jaguars winning 28-3. Final score, Falcons fans. Yeah, that will be the final score, not just heading into the 4th quarter. They'll be able to hold on. And the 49ers at the Raiders. The 49ers basically just want better positioning in the playoffs. They've already made it. They've already clinched. The Raiders, I think, are eliminated. I heard Derek Carr will not play this game. He is benched because there is no point in playing him. This is a very pointless game. And with that, I think Nick Bosa is going to get 2 sacks. Brock Purdy's going to throw at least 2 touchdowns. George Kittle will catch at least 1. Christian McCaffrey will rush for at least 2 touchdowns. It's going to be a slaughter. 28-14. And then the Jets. Actually, 14 is too nice for the Raiders considering they're benching their quarterback. 28-7. The Jets at the Seahawks. I mean, the Jets and Seahawks are both those teams that started out really surprisingly well. And now they're not that good. But their corners are some of the best in the league. DJ Reed and Sauce Gardner both made the Pro Bowl. And Sauce Gardner, he got the hype, but he deserves it. Making the Pro Bowl as a rookie, especially at corner, is very hard to do in the NFL. But he is doing phenomenally. I think it all has something to do with like the cheesehead helmet. It allows a ton of vision, and it's like wedge shaped, so it helps him cut through the air, achieve less drag, and go faster. And it really gives an open field of vision, and it's also really safe because it's foam. And there's no chin strap on the cheese head, so that cuts down on the distractions. Yeah, so Sauce Gardner's ability, his whole ability is based on like what the helmet he wears, the cheese head. I think the Jets are gonna win just cause I think Geno Smith's going to be intercepted 2 times. I think Sauce Gardner will get one of those picks. I do think that Kenneth Walker, will rush for at least 1 touchdown, and DK Metcalf will catch at least 1 touchdown. And I think that James Robinson will rush for at least 2 touchdowns. I think this ends up being 20-14 Jets. Vikings at Packers. The Packers could keep their hopes alive with a win and improve to 8-8. What an improvement. Anyway, the Vikings are really good and probably won't allow that to happen because Kirk Thuggins and Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson is really, really good. I know it doesn't need to be said, but I'll say it. I think that Justin Jefferson will catch at least 1 touchdown, and TJ Hawkinson will catch at least 1 touchdown, and Dalvin Cook will rush for at least 1 touchdown. I think Quay Walker will get a sack, though. I think Jair Alexander will get an interception. And I think Christian Watson will get a touchdown, and A.J. Dillon will get 1 touchdown. But I think this ends up being 21-17 Vikings. And the Rams at the Chargers. I am going to be rooting for the Chargers on this one because here's why. The Rams have nothing to lose. It's just getting Detroit a higher draft pick if they lose. But the Chargers have something to play for. They could get the 5 seed if they win this game and the next game. So I want at least one Los Angeles team to be really good this season. So the Rams are already eliminated. The Chargers are in the playoffs. So go Chargers. It's just hometown pride. That's really it. And if the Ravens drop their 2 games, which is a possibility because of no Lamar Jackson, and the Chargers win their next 2 games, which are against horrible teams, the Rams and the Broncos, which made the Rams look like the best team in all of football. So if they win both those and the Ravens lose like 1 and don't beat and lose 1 and lose a tiebreaker or lose both, I think the Chargers can get the number 5 seed and go against maybe the Jaguars or the Titans. The Jaguars, they've lost 2, but Justin Herbert was injured. The Titans, they've beat. Really no caveats to that one. Anyway, I think the Rams are going to perform horribly, but Baker Mayfield will throw at least 1 touchdown. I heard Bosa's coming back. I hope so. I think that Tyler Higbee will catch at least 1 touchdown, and Cam Akers will rush for at least 1 touchdown. And I think that's basically it. I think that Keenan Allen will catch at least one touchdown. Austin Eckler will rush for 2. And Justin Herbert will pass for 1 and at least 1 and rush for 1. I think this ends up being 34-17 Chargers. And I think that Baker Mayfield or whoever the Rams quarterback is, if Baker Mayfield gets injured, I think that's Bryce Perkins. I think he'll get sacked 3 times. Yeah, the Chargers are really good at sacking. We saw in the Colts game. And Sunday Night Football. Steelers at Ravens. There's a chance the Ravens drop this. There's a really big chance they don't because the Steelers suck. And there's not much else to it. Then they really suck. But then again, Tyler Huntley is not Lamar Jackson. Don't ever think for a second that he is Lamar Jackson or a good replacement for Lamar Jackson. But I think that Kenny Pickett gets intercepted twice, but there's at least 1 touchdown. And he should not play in a pointless season with 2 concussions, but hey, he's playing because this is football. America's national religion. You know, in America, freedom of religion, but you gotta like football. The Ravens, their secondary is really good. Mark Andrews, I think, will catch at least 1 touchdown. I think on defensive merit alone, the Ravens will win. But I don't think it will be really far apart. I think this ends up being 13-10 for the Ravens. And then on Monday night football, which starts 10 minutes later than it normally does. The Bills at the Bengals, and this is honestly will be a good matchup, I believe. The Bills can clinch the number 1 seed in the conference. If they lose, I think it's the Chiefs. Yes, the Chiefs. Yeah, 2 really good football teams with explosive quarterbacks, pretty good defenses. I'm predicting a heck of a game here. Starting with defense, I think that the Buffalo Bills will get 3 sacks and the Bengals will get 2 sacks just because the Bills are really good at defense. I think that in the secondary, Buffalo is better with Tre'Davious White, who I think will get an interception, compared to Eli Apple and Von Bell. He's better than both of them combined. Tre'Davious White is better than Eli Apple and Von Bell combined. But I do think Josh Allen will throw at least 1 interception in this game. I think that James Cook will rush for at least 2 touchdowns. I think that Joe Mixon will rush for at least 2 touchdowns. I think that Joe Burrow will throw at least 1 touchdown. I think Josh Allen will rush for at least 1 touchdown. Throw for at least 1 touchdown. I think Jamar Chase will catch at least 1 touchdown. And Stephon Diggs will catch at least 1 touchdown. I'm predicting that this one comes down to the wire with a game-winning field goal late in the 4th to make it 24-21 for the Bills. And that really does it. I don't think there are any teams on bye. Yeah, bye weeks are over. I still cannot believe that next week will be the last regular season week of the season. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you want to contact me, my email is in the description. If you check out Souls Auto Parts, they will be in the description. how to contact them. As always, thank you for listening. You will hear more of me next episode.